Dark Shadows, VTR 2767 for Air 21467. Number 32, DRK 67.
My name is Victoria Winters. Collinwood seems calm in the light of day, but unseen forces, usually the companions of the night, seem to be contending with one another without respite. And there is a feeling at Collinwood that these unseen forces will soon show themselves. And David said there was no light, but he could hear the ocean roaring nearby. And so he had the feeling that they were walking along a beach. His mother was holding his hand. And he said he thought that they were the only two people on the whole world. And that the world itself was infinite, endless space.
Was he frightened?
No. And that's what frightens me.
I see. Well, what then?
Well, he began to notice how silent his mother was. And her eyes. He said that her eyes were blazing in the dark. And then he saw that they were heading toward a great light that seemed to be quite separate from the darkness that they were walking in. And the roaring grew louder. And they came closer and closer. And his mother's eyes were blazing. And then they were running toward the light. And the roaring grew and grew. And just as they were about to fling themselves into it, he woke up. And that was his dream.
I wonder if it was really a dream.
It had to be a dream. You don't think David would make up something like that?
No, but I'm not sure that it was an actual dream.
But he was asleep. What else could it have been?
So little is known about the ultimate powers of the mind. But it's just possible. It's just possible that in the passive state of sleep, some other force, if it's strong enough, can intrude.
Do you think that it was something like a vision?
Yes. A vision, maybe.
But why couldn't it just have been a dream about David going away with his mother?
Well, it could be that, but what puzzles me is David's attitude. His attitude within the dream.
You mean because he wasn't frightened?
Yes, that's right. Now, you see, even if he really wanted to go away with his mother, I'm sure that he has some anxiety about it, some fears.
And the fears should have shown up in the dream.
Well, not necessarily. But given David's own unconscious and his natural sense of inferiority, well, I doubt if he would trust anyone at all, the way he trusted his mother in that dream.
Do you think something else caused that dream?
Yes, I think so.
But what could it be?
That's what I have to find out.
Roger, please. I want my son. I need him. Give him to me now. Please, you have no idea how much I need him. let me have him before it's too late. Please, Roger.
You'll have him, Laura, soon enough.
No, I want him now, immediately.
That's impossible.
It's not impossible. All you have to do is give the word.
I can't give it. Not now.
Roger, please. I beg you, I don't have much time.
You keep saying that. What do you mean you don't have much time? It doesn't make sense.
Well, I just mean that it's nothing. It's just that if Liz comes back, you know that she'll make me leave without David. You know she will.
You know as well as I do that in all likelihood it's going to be some time before Liz comes back here.
How do you know that? She could recover just as quickly as she became ill. After all, this state she's in can end just as unpredictably as it started.
Are you sure that's what you meant when you said you didn't have much time?
Of course. What else could I have meant?
I don't know. But I have a feeling it's something else.
Oh, Roger, please. I just can't stand much more of this. I have got to have David.
What I don't understand is what brought this on. All this panic all of a sudden.
Is it really that hard to understand?
Well, yes, your self-control was always one of your admirable, if not unsettling, attributes.
I am a mother who wants her son.
And you seem well on the way of getting him. But why this change all of a sudden? All at once, you panicked and frightened. You used to be the epitome of patience.
Yes, I've been patient long enough. Why can't I have him now?
You know the answer to that as well as I do.
You're his father. Liz can't stop you legally. What, even if she were here, she couldn't.
Yes, but she has, shall we say, other means of influence.
All right then, Roger. I have an idea. Let me have David now. Without being a legal guardian, you'll still have control. Then if Liz wants me to bring him back, I will. I promise you I will.
But I really don't understand why you persist in this. What has happened to make you so impatient?
Nothing. Nothing. I'll bring him back. I promise you, I'll bring him back if I have to. Roger, I have never begged you before. I am begging you now.
I'm sorry, Laura.
All right. And I think perhaps that I should mention one small thing.
What's that?
What would you say if I were to mention the word manslaughter to Burke Devlin?
Go ahead.
What?
I said go ahead.
I will go to Burke. I'm warning you.
I will not be intimidated, Laura.
You think I won't do it.
I know you won't.
I'll turn state's witness, and I will get away with everything. They will charge me with nothing.
You would have to confess to perjury. And that, my dear, would have some effect on deciding a custody case. You wouldn't have a prayer of getting David, and you know it.
All right. All right, you win for now.
For good, Laura.
At least promise me one thing.
But you've hardly put me in the mood to promise anything.
Begin legal proceedings now. Divorce and the custody.
Why?
Because they take time. Oh, so much time.
Once I consent to the custody of David, it'll take no time at all.
Do it now.
I'll do it when I see fit.
Then you won't help me.
I have been helping you, Laura. I've given you every opportunity to win David on your side, and you've almost done it.
Don't you understand? I have to take him away with me soon. If I don't, Carolyn and Vicky... I hate to say this, Roger, but they are trying to turn David against me.
Laura, sometimes I think you're on the verge of a relapse.
Don't be ridiculous. David will never really be mine until I get him away from this place.
I'm afraid you'll have to prove your suitability for motherhood with a greater show of patience.
I have been patient.
Well, then be More patient.
I can't be.
Let's face it, Laura. You haven't any choice. And neither have I.
How are you going to find out what caused David's dream?
By contacting someone, well, someone who may be able to tell us.
I don't understand.
Well, you've felt all along that you've been receiving messages, clues, whatever, from the spirit of Josette Collins, haven't you?
I feel fairly certain I have.
But so far, all she's been able to give you are hints. That's probably because she lacks the power to do more.
What do you intend to do?
Give her more power.
But how?
By not waiting for her to contact us, but by contacting her as directly as possible.
In a seance.
Yes.
What's this about the seance?
Dr. Guthrie thinks that he can contact Josette.
Or someone who may be able to help us.
I don't know. I'm not sure I even believe in that sort of thing.
Fortunately for themselves, spirits don't depend on our belief for their existence.
But the idea, well, it frightens me.
Because you do believe, in a way?
Maybe. I know there's something here, something frightening. And the idea of getting closer to
The
it.
more we know, the more we'll be able to help your mother.
And you think a seance might help?
We won't know until we try.
Will I have to be there?
I think we all should be there.
Oh, not David, please. It would frighten him so.
But David may be the one person who can make the necessary contact.
But can't we at least try without him?
Well,
With Mrs. Stoddard gone, David is my responsibility. He's already been made so upset by the things that have happened.
I guess we can give it a try.
But you do think the rest of us should be there?
Definitely.
Even my Aunt Laura and Uncle Roger?
Yes, very definitely.
I don't think you'll be able to persuade them to do it.
We must persuade them.
It's for your mother's sake. They can't very well refuse to help her, can they?
No. No, of course not. I just wish there was some other way. Not a seance. The air seems so troubled, even now. I can feel it. Who knows who's here with us? Now. In this room.
The whole idea is preposterous and idiotic.
And very necessary.
I refuse to play these parlor games.
Mr. Collins, I can assure you this will be no parlor game.
A seance, indeed. I've indulged this family with its superstitions enough as it is, but this is going too far.
But if there's a possibility it might help Mother.
Help your mother? Why not dance a voodoo dance around the hospital table, chanting semi-guttural noises?
Mr. Collins, I can tell you that I feel a seance is the one real contribution I can make to this entire case.
I congratulate you. It is the first succinct confession of quackery I have ever heard.
Roger, it is not quackery. We can't ignore what's been going on here.
Mr. Collins, I'm aware that you've never cared for my ideas.
These are not ideas. Ideas are the product of the human mind. This is a product of irrational superstition.
I know that you're anxious to have me leave Collinwood. Well, there is one way that you can hasten my departure.
A simple request, perhaps?
Uncle Roger, please.
If the seance fails, then there'll be no reason for me to stay on.
Oh?
Once the seance is over,
You'll forget this foolishness?
I'll have no choice.
Well, then let's do it at once. Come along, girls. Let's gather around.
Uncle Roger, he's only trying to help.
I'm not sure when the time will be right, but I'll let you know.
When do you think it will be?
Soon, very likely. You'll participate?
Well, I think I should. I think somebody should be present who has a firm hold on his sanity.
Good. That's settled then. I'll let you all know when the exact time will be.
Thank you, Dr. Guthrie.
I'll show you to the door.
Uncle Roger, he's only trying to help my mother, and the only thing you can do is be rude.
Oh, kitten, please. I've agreed to your simple little pleasures. Isn't that enough?
I wonder if he wants us to talk to Aunt Laura about it, or if he'd prefer to do it himself.
Do you really expect Laura to join in on this lunacy? Why, you must be out of your mind. I wouldn't consider it. I'll be up in my room if any of you want me. Just tap on the night table. Seance, indeed. I've never heard anything so foolish in my life.
Do you know what?
What?
I think the real reason Uncle Roger is objecting is that the idea of a seance frightens him, just as it does me.
Do you really think that your Aunt Laura will refuse?
Oh, of course she will, and we won't even have the argument we used with Uncle Roger.
What's that?
That it might help Mother.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, Vicky, of course you know. You know as well as I do that my Aunt Laura probably had something to do with my mother's illness. She was the last person to see her. If she hadn't done anything wrong, why did she lie about that?
I don't know.
I have a good mind to go right down to that cottage now and tell her to get out.
You can't do that.
Can't I? I want her to know that we know she's been lying.
But what would it accomplish?
I'd have the satisfaction of seeing the expression on her face when I told her.
Carolyn, listen to me.
Not if you're going to try to talk me out of it.
Well, shouldn't we know a little bit more before we let her know that we suspect her?
I'm not going to tell her we suspect her. I just want her to know that we know she lied about having seen Mother.
But Dr. Guthrie said that we shouldn't say anything. And considering what's happened to your mother, I don't think it would be very wise to let her know that you suspect too.
I'm not afraid of her.
Neither was your mother.
Vicky, stop trying to scare me out of it.
I'm not trying to scare you.
Yes, you are too. I refuse to be frightened of that woman. I absolutely refuse. She's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing at all.
Who is it?
It's me, Aunt Laura. Is it all right if I come in?
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
I was out taking a walk and I didn't realize how cold it was. Would you mind lending me a scarf?
No, of course not.
I'd forgotten how comfortable the cottage is.
Oh, yes, it is very comfortable, isn't it?
Of course, if I lived here, I'd get a little lonesome,
Well, sometimes it is lonesome.
I'm sure. But then there are times when it's not lonesome, right?
That's right. For instance, the other night when David stayed here, it was almost like a real home.
Of course, you do have a nice view of the grounds. You know what?
Will this be all right?
I was just thinking. It's too bad you weren't looking out the window the night of the big storm.
Well, that's not likely. I'm afraid of storms.
I don't blame you. But you might have seen my mother.
Well, it was so dark, I doubt very much that you could see a thing.
I guess you're right. But I can't help wishing that someone had seen her just before she got sick. It might help us know what's wrong with her.
I thought you wanted this.
Isn't it strange that my mother didn't come here when the storm began?
No, I don't think so. She was probably closer to the house.
I don't think so.
Oh? Well, what makes you think that?
Just a feeling, I guess.
Carolyn, I'm awfully sorry, but I was just
I
about
keep
to
getting
take a
the
nap.
feeling that my mother was very close to here. As a matter of fact, that she was actually inside, right here in this room.
All right, Carolyn. If you have something to say, say it and leave.
Why did you lie about it?
About what?
Why did you say my mother wasn't here?
Who said she was here?
Burke Devlin told Vicky he saw her here. Why didn't you say anything about it?
Well, I think that When I was asked, it slipped my mind.
Uh-huh.
I hardly think it was worth mentioning. Let's see now. What was it? She was, out for a walk. The storm came up. She stopped by here to see if I wouldn't be more comfortable up at the house. When I told her I was fine, she left. Now, that's, hardly worth mentioning.
Uh-huh.
And certainly not worth discussing.
I wasn't discussing anything.
Well, I wouldn't discuss it with anyone else if I were you. Is that clear?
I'd say it was very clear.
Good. Oh, Carolyn, do you want this or don't you?
I don't think I need it now. It's funny how fast the weather changes. Don't you think it's funny?
James Mason is your guide to an unforgettable hour in Westminster Abbey on Hall of Kings, an ABC News special in color tonight on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.